Hey, this is Scott. I just got done reading this. Cover, you know, cover to cover. All, 750 pages, cover to cover. And I thought I'd review it. I don't think there's a lot of book reviews out there. There are a lot of Warhammer books, so that makes sense. And I thought I'd make this video, because I haven't made a video in 6 days. I figured I'd get this out. So yeah, I just read it, fresh in my mind. I couldn't read it in one go. I read like 4 chapters a day. Pretty big book, so 4 chapters, not a lot. Took me like all month to read it. So yeah, the story follows Celestian Myria of Armored Ladies, and she goes on adventures. There's 4 adventures in the book, and I won't spoil them, and I'll review them. Overall, it's a really entertaining book with some dumb moments here and there. But according to this, I mentioned this in one video. According to this introduction, these are the very first Warhammer books. And the more I read these, the more I appreciated the offer. Pretty good offer. I like them more than most Warhammer offers out there. The guy who wrote John French. I don't like John French's books. And David Anneby. David Anneby and John French, those 2 guys I don't like. But James Fall, he seems to know what he's doing. Alright. So yeah, don't worry about the cover, because I actually don't know what fight this is. This, from these purple orbs, I'm thinking, if I had to guess, it's actually the last story, which is this one, Heart and Soul. The story here. I'm guessing that's what this is. So yes, this is Armored Lady, and because you see these colors on the store, I'm guessing these are like the default colors. So I guess Armored Lady is probably the most popular one, or the most famous one, if I had to guess. Alright, so to the review. Each story is like 11 chapters, I think. So I try not to spoil it. Introduction, it just says these are like the first books, and the guy really had to try and persuade the company to make this book, because they had other books they wanted to get out first. So it took a lot of persuasion to make these books. And each book is like 5 years apart. These stories happen right after another, but they're written like 5 years apart from each other. So, yeah. So, Red and Black is probably the most interesting one of the 4. Red and Black is about Sister Maria and her squad. Oh yeah, just to let you guys know, there's really only like 8 names. There's 8 names you have to remember. If you can remember 8 names, you're pretty much good to go. There's only like 8 characters in the whole book, basically. So it's not a hard book to read. It's easier than the pirate one. The pirate one is way harder to read, especially if the Tau speaks in a different language. So yeah. So Red and Black, her first mission, or the first mission we know of, there is one paragraph that says she's been on tons and tons of missions. So the first mission we know of is she goes to this world. She's already a Celestian. It's a imperial world, normal world, no war. She's sent there with all these warships and tech priests because they found clone technology, and cloning technology is a pretty big deal. It's really rare. And in the story, and this isn't really a spoiler. This is like the first sentence of the book. The clones are the kings of the planet. And the church the church has said that clones are just not people. They don't count them as people. They weren't born the same, so they just don't count. So the church sees the clones in high levels of government as a big offense. And that's where the story starts. A lot of interesting stuff happens that I won't get into. But yeah, that's how the story starts. Clones are in charge of this planet. No war. It's pretty short. It's like 5 chapters long. But I would say it's actually the most interesting one, and maybe even the best written one. Faith and Fire is a good chunk of the book. Faith and Fire is where they go to their sister planet, and it's a very generic story about them finding a criminal on the loose, a very powerful psyker, well-known criminal. And so I would say half the story is about the church itself. The sisters, the candidates, the rituals, the deacons. It teaches you like how the sister government works. It had like every sister tank in it. Even the conjugators. Conjugators weren't released until recently, but they were mentioned in this book from like 2005. So that's pretty interesting. And Fire is probably the Psychers. Half the story is about the church, half the story is about the Psychers. So that's a pretty good one. This one probably has the most amount of lore. I would say this one has the most amount of lore in it. So it's pretty good. There are a couple dumb moments in the book. Faith and Fire. Like there's a part where she gets trapped in jail with her armor, and then she uses like the pointy parts of her armor to get out of jail. So that was pretty dumb. They're living in the year 40,000. These people, they should be smarter than that to put someone in jail with their armor, but whatever. Dumb moments like that. There's other dumb moments. There's like 4 or 5 dumb moments in the book. So yeah, I would say the most amount of lore. I say I learned the most from this story, but it's not the best one. I think Red and Black is the best story. Hammer Anvil is actually a sister fighting Necrons, but they're very like dumb Necrons. which you don't see too often. It's also about tech priests, the Mechanicum, but again, they're very dumb Mechanicum, the very dumb tech priests, and I would actually say the tech priests are the true bad guys in the story. If you read like the first 2 chapters, you would get it. The tech priests are like the real bad guys in the story. The Necrons do try to kill everybody, but they're just kind of, it's more like a get off our lawn kind of thing. Not really it's nothing personal. But with the tech priest, it was personal. So, yeah. This story just annoyed me for like half of it. The Necron stuff was pretty well written, and the characters are pretty well written. It's mostly the tech priests and the dumb Necrons that annoyed me. Like Necrons were able to control like hundreds of soldiers at once, but they made like the most common of mistakes, and it just annoyed me. Not a lot of lore in this one. I think I sometimes skip pages because it is like a 750 page book, and I think this story here actually skipped the most amount of pages. So it's probably the worst story out of the 4, but it's also really entertaining because you do see a Necron sister shootout, which is pretty cool. And you see the canonists fight a lot in this too. Miria is not a canonist, but you see the canonists fight a lot in this, so that's cool. Heart and Soul is pretty interesting. It's about sisters fighting chaos in this really unique battlefield. I didn't really understand most of this story. It was pretty confusing. But yeah, it was Sister versus Chaos. And what makes it interesting was this other sister squad, this other sister battle squad, was in charge of the Chaos soldiers. You don't learn that until like 20 pages in. But yeah, it's basically sisters versus sisters in this fight, in this story, and that's pretty interesting. This story here was really well written, but I didn't understand most of it. There was a lot going on. So yeah, I think that's my review. So I'll do a recap. Introduction, saying this is like the first sister book. Red and Black, which is sisters versus politics, basically. This is a pretty politic-heavy book, or story. Faith and Fire, which goes deeper into the religion, the church, and it goes pretty deep into psychers. Like Space Marines banned psychers, so they don't get talked about a lot. But in this story, psychers they're talked about a lot in this one. So if you want a psycher story, that's a good one to read. Hammer and Anvil is a Necron story. The sister stuff was actually pretty cool. I think the sisters were really well written, but the other factions were not. Like the Mechanicum was pretty weak written, and the Necron were pretty weak written. I'm not sure if that was on purpose, but yeah. So it was pretty cool. Heart and Soul It's probably the shortest story, but it does a lot. It did a lot more than I expected. It's funny, the first 30 pages is like just talking, and then the next 30 pages, all that chaos stuff happens. And it's actually pretty good. I would say this 40-page story was actually better than most of the books I read. It was better than that Grey Knight book, and it was better than that, some of those Horus Heresy books. The first, like, 10 Horus Heresy books are really good, and then once you get past the 10, they get pretty bad. So yeah, that's my, review of that. Good adventures, some dumb moments, nothing like too offensive. I think the most offensive was just dumb Necrons and dumb Mechanicum. So yeah, pretty good story. One more thing I want to show you before I end it. I got new books. I got this Salamander book. Looks pretty interesting. I thought this would be about Vulcan, but I don't think this is about Vulcan, so that kind of sucks. I don't know much about Salamanders, but I know Vulcan's pretty cool. And I got the Silent War. The Silent War is basically Warhammer, but very political. And it's supposed to be a book where Malcador does a lot in it. So I'm hoping Malcador really shows his true strength in this one. I haven't read any of it. I haven't even read the first page, so I don't know. But this is supposed to be like a Malcador book. I'm guessing this is Sigmund. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Sigmund. I'm guessing this is Loken. I'm not sure. Might also be yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Loken. I'm pretty sure Loken shaves. So that's kind of confusing. But yeah, so that's the next books I'll be working on. I haven't finished the pirate book. I haven't finished the demon book yet. So I'll be working on those. And yeah, I think that's the end of it. So yeah, I recommend it. But I would recommend maybe like half of it. Half of it is good. Half of it's really dumb. But it is 800 pages. You can't expect, perfection. But yeah, I enjoyed it. Hopefully you guys have a good day. Alright, thank you.